Hey there, you're listening to the Jazz Central Studios Podcast. Hi everyone and welcome to the first Jazz Central Studios Podcast with your host, Sam Worthington. And I'm here tonight with a great bass player, a musician who's been on the Twin Cities scene for over a decade, who's been performing and who has never missed a beat. And that's Mr. Ted Olsen. Ted, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on this podcast. And you're here tonight, one, because you're a stand-up guy and a great musician, but two, because you're playing this Saturday at Jazz Central, playing 2 sets. Is that correct?
2 sets, yeah, Saturday, 8 o'clock. There's $10 cover at the door, and it's also streaming online.
Notice how inflation hasn't ticked up the Jazz Central price. That's a promise to you, audience.
Yeah.
It'll stay at 10. Oh, Mac's gonna kill me. So Ted, how are you feeling about Saturday? Who are you playing with, and what's going on?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Saturday. I haven't played at Jazz Central with it's going to be my quartet, the Ted Olsen Quartet. We haven't played there in about a year, back when it was streaming only. And we're going to have Aaron Hedenstrom on saxophone, tenor and soprano, Joe Strand playing piano, and Ben Ehrlich will be joining us for the first time on drums.
Now, I don't think people really, unless people have familiarity with those musicians, but that is a very swinging band. Did you put it together?
Yes, this is my brainchild. Aaron has played kind of since I started my own group, and then first time playing the music with Ben, and Joe has been playing a lot over the past few years.
I love Joe.
Mm-hmm.
He brings such a great spirit to the performance.
Yeah.
Ben E is like an octopus. I mean, he's everywhere on that drum set. And Aaron Hedenstrom, that guy is so swinging, he can go anywhere and do anything.
Yeah.
And they're all just joy. You're all joy bundles. There's no depressive thing that's gonna happen at this show.
We'll come smoke cigarettes in the back afterwards when we can.
And I'll say some depressing things just to even out the mood. So Ted, we're gonna hear a little cut off of your 2017 album entitled Joyfire. This is a tune called Daybreak. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is a track that I really like playing and people have responded to, featuring Santiago on piano, Aaron Hedenstrom on soprano sax, and Miguel Hurtado has a great drum solo on it. Yeah, I like this kind of has a mix of brightness and also in the improvisation, like the band starts really playing with a great level of intensity, and I was really happy with the group performance on this one.
Here's Daybreak. And I always seen you as like a musician with great poise, great confidence. I've never seen you phased on stage. I've never seen you trapped or tense. Movement, dancing, colors, freedom, lightness, groove, pliability. Whoa, where'd that one come from? But these are all things I associate with your music.
Yeah, those are all great words, and I can definitely hear all of them in the music.
How are you thinking about it approaching Saturday night? Do you have any rituals leading up to it? Because we haven't been playing out too much because of the gosh darn pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so obviously muscle memory will kick back in and you'll go into Spider-Man mode as soon as you could, because you do have a little superhero thing. You got a little superhero poise. But do you have any, leading up to a Saturday gig like this, do you have any psychological, physical, spiritual, pharmacological, any sort of any types of rituals which you use to put you into the performance state?
Wow,
you don't have to share have to share secrets too if you don't want to.
Yeah, secrets of the biz. But you gotta take a bath in CBD oil the night before.
Really?
While listening to Pharoah Sanders by candlelight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every day, one should kind of be ready to be expressive and like in the moment, which of course, like when you're doing a jazz performance, that you're kind of like clued into that because it demands that. So I don't know if I would do, I just try and stay ready, on day to day.
You live it.
I'm sounding like a Silicon Valley asshole right
now.
No,
you're not. You're not. That's a black belt perspective. And here's another one, because that one was so damn good. This is off your 2020 EP called "It's Easy to Pretend," the EP, and the tune is called "Within Without." What about this one? What was going on here?
Yeah, this one has a really sort of shifty harmony, but it's tied really closely to the melody, which I was kind of thinking of basically being sung. A lot of this stuff is actually ends up being in like my baritone range, vocal range, which is cool to have the tenor sax on it. And maybe that's just where I'm hearing melodies. And yeah, also I wanted to write a bass line that I thought would challenge myself. So that was a fun experiment. And then I gave it to the piano player, Javier Santiago, too, because usually the piano player writes a bass line and it's really easy on piano and then gives it to the bass player, and the bass player struggles a little bit. So I did the opposite. This is payback.
Well, I know that once you, as a listener, find yourself within this tune, you can't imagine a life without it.
Yeah.
So here's "Within Without." Do you think about audience energy? Do you have an ideal audience? If you had to describe an ideal, like mine would be hooting and hollering and indulging in all sorts of forbidden activities, and the room would be full of smoke, and someone might or might not get stabbed. There'd be gambling in the court. That's my ideal audience. But I'll speak for myself. Do you have an ideal audience?
Oh man, That just reminded me of this club in Chicago, the Green Mill. They have where Al Capone used to hang out. They have like the organ behind the bar because they didn't want the band in the way of like all the brawling.
Yeah,
they would have him behind the bar.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've always really appreciated the Jazz Central audience. They rarely talk, and they will clap after solos, which is not necessary, but I feel like it can be fun, because sometimes when I'm playing or when I'm an audience member, it's like I just get so excited by what happens. Like, I want to holler or clap. And I think post-pandemic, some of the shows I've played, when the audience is really good, I forgot what that feels like, just like the ideal one would be, you can tell they're paying attention and appreciating it, So, minimal noise during the... And
there's that feedback of energy.
There's a feedback of energy, and you can tell when they're digging it, and like... Because, if it was just your band and you're just rehearsing or you're just playing by yourself, it's like, oh yeah, this sounds really cool. And like, you're like over at somebody's house playing or whatever, and you're like, yeah, it sounds cool. We're having fun. Like, this is sweet. But it's just different. It's like when you can feel, how you get that feeling when you're like, somebody's looking at me, or like, and you have to like turn around. But then when it's like, so that, that's a feeling I think everybody can relate to. But then when it's like, when it's 40 people and you're feeling that energy,
and it's joy.
And it's joy. And they're like digging the sounds, and you're like, that you've spent years,
yeah. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a much better strategy than berating your audience with insults. Just going for the postmodern ironic approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I prefer the purity and the humanity of the Ted Olsen approach.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be yourself. If that is like who you are,
yeah,
that could maybe play well.
I agree.
I'm like a little too earnest or something.
Man, you got it going on. Wonderful. Ted Olsen, thank you very much. And thank you for listening to the Jazz Central Studios podcast. Ted Olsen Quartet is playing Saturday, April 16th, 8 p.m. Can't miss it. You got to make it. You got to swing it. These cats are bad. Jazz Central Studios in person has limited seating. Please arrive early or late and claim your ground. Enjoy the show live. If not, there's the live stream. Jazz Central live stream. It's great. It's free. Join us over the web. And remember that we rely on your donations. So please contribute to this great scene with these great musicians. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.